Students, the last class we discussed about the methods of preparation of the colloidal solutions. See, today I am going to discuss about the purification procedures of colloids. That's nothing but the purification of the colloids. First of all, what is this purification? Why it is needed? See, for example, you see that is we have taken the last class we have taken the a preparatory procedure which is known as the hydrolysis of the salt. That is ferric chloride is taken, ferric hydroxide colloidal solution is prepared. If it is heated with the water, that is taken into the water, ferric hydroxide colloidal solution is formed and HCl is produced. See, this is the colloid formed. This is the electrolyte produced. Right? So, when the silver nitrate is treated with the sodium chloride, insufficient quantity of the sodium chloride, I told you, that is AgCl is formed in the colloidal form. Colloidal solution is formed, plus along with this, that is NaNO3 is formed. This is electrolyte form. See, during the preparation of the colloidal solution, what is happening? Colloid is forming one, and along with that, an electrolyte or non-electrolyte is formed. That means your colloidal solution prepared by the several methods contain the other than colloidal particles, which are known as these are all called as the crystalloids. Normally, that is a classical, the terminology used, crystalloid is used for the salts like compounds. According to the old theories, that is the materials to prepare that is colloids and materials that are used to prepare that is true solutions are different. According to the classical theories, some compounds only form the true solutions, some compounds do not form the true solution, they form that is colloidal solutions. So the compounds which form the only colloids, only that is true solutions, named as the crystalloids. So here a crystalloid is formed or the electrolyte is formed and non-electrolyte is formed during the preparatory procedure of that is most of the electrolytic solutions. They are all considered as the impurities in the colloidal solution. Right? They are all contained. But colloid to exist, small amount of the electrolyte is required, because this is the colloidal particle, this colloidal particle and may combine with the other colloidal particle. When two or more colloidal particles combine each other, its size increases. Joining the colloidal particles, size increases, its size exceeds the size of the colloidal particle and it changes into that is suspension. Once it is converted into the particle sizes that is greater than 1000 angstroms, then what happens? It will go into the influence of the gravity, separated from the solution, colloidal solution breaks. So that is to prevent the coagulation, combining the colloidal particle to convert into the suspension is the coagulation. The process of conversion of the colloid into suspension is called as the coagulation. The process of conversion of the suspension into colloidal solution is called as the peptidation that we discussed in the last class. Suspension to colloid is peptidation. Colloid to suspension is the coagulation, flocculation. This is. So what happens? The surface, very small particle that is surface is active, it absorbs that is Fe3 plus ion, surface is active, that is the metal ions are adsorbed on this, and due to this what happens, that is it acquires the charge. So now ferric hydroxide is existing in the colloidal state, its surface is covered with the positively charged ions, carbon ions. Now the colloidal particle is a charged particle. What is the advantage? Why are you taking all these things? See, this prevents all the colloidal ferric hydroxide colloidal particles are positively charged. You know that the light charges are repelled each other, they cannot come closer to each other, there is no possibility for the coagulation combining and converting into the suspension form, so stability is increased. For the stability of the colloid, that is what is required, the colloid particle should absorb a specific ion, cation and anion, and it should exist as a charged particle. The charge present on the colloidal particle is that is the responsible for the stability of the colloidal particle. Now, therefore, small amount of the electrolyte is required. Otherwise, colloid cannot exist. But if the electrolyte is present in the large quantities, then what happens? Charge is neutralized by the anions. Therefore, what happens? That is the surface becomes the neutral and combine and convert into the suspension. So ultimately, what we are talking, that is a colloidal solution contains that is some crystalloid, that is an electrolytic solution. 1, 2 is unwanted. 2, small amount of the crystalloid or electrolyte is required for the stability of the colloidal solution to form this type of charged particle. But if the electrolyte is present in the large quantities, that again favor that coagulation, separation, decrease the stability. Therefore, after the preparation of the colloidal solution, that is the excess of the crystalloid or excess of the electrolytic substance present in the solution to be eliminated. The process of removal of that is unwanted material or certain amount of the electrolytic solution, electrolytes from the colloidal solution is called as that is purification of the colloids. That is called as the purification process. So now we are using the different techniques and eliminating that is the electrolytes that are excessively associated with that is colloidal solution by using the different chemical techniques. So that is, these are the important purification techniques. To save the time, I have taken the list of the different procedures that are used to, that is purification of the colloids. One is the dialysis, other one is a slightly modified dialysis that is called as the electrodialysis, and third one is the ultrafiltration, and fourth one is that is ultracentrifugation. Centrifugal forces are acting here. So this is the case. So let us discuss one by one what is the advantage and disadvantage of each and every procedure. But entire electrolyte is not removed from during this process. Remember, some amount of the electrolyte is necessary for the stability of the particularly leophobic colloids. Otherwise, coagulation takes place. Now, what happens? So, coagulation is nothing but the breaking of the milk. That is here. What is dialysis? So, dialysis is now we know it's a medical terminology. Dialysis is nothing but the removal of the process of removal of the electrolyte from the colloidal solution, to the desired level by using That is the semi-permeable membrane is called as the dialysis. The process of removal of the excess of the electrolytes from the given colloidal solution by using the semi-permeable membrane is called as the dialysis. So this contains your colloidal solution contains the ions. Now what we are doing, that is here, this is the dialysis experiment. This is filled with the water, distilled water, pure water. This is moving in, this is coming out. Water, entire container is filled. Now, a bag is taken, which is made up, we call it as a parchment bag or cellophane. It is made up of the cellophane, the parchment bag, parchment paper, cellophane, which is nothing but the modified cellulose. Modified cellulose. Cellulose, that's a naturally occurring cellulose like your paper. Cellulose, they act as a semi-permeable membrane. They selectively permit the passage of certain ions. So, now what you have to do, this is filled with this is tied. This entire thing is filled with the colloidal solution which is to be purified. This is the colloidal solution like the ferric hydroxide solution, salt, and that contains the HCl you have seen. Now, some HCl to be removed. Now, what they are doing, this is that is kept in this one. Continuously water is coming and going. So this parchment paper, that is or this is cellophane, that is which is used as a tape, cellophane bag that acts as a semi-permeable membrane. Now this is inside, this is a colloidal solution. Now what happens when it is kept? This is the electrolyte like H plus ion, the Cl minus ion comes out. Diffused through the pores of the parchment paper or cellophane bag. The bag is that container or the bag is allowing only these ions to come out. The pure colloid, the dispersion medium and dispersion phase remains in the contain this bag, but the ions comes out. Due to this diffusion of the ions, then what happens? The concentration of the H plus ion and Cl minus ion in the colloidal solution or cation and anions of the electrolyte gradually decreases. So this process is carried, that is until the permissible level of that is the HCl or colloidal electrolyte is left in the solution. If you remove the total electrolyte, that coagulation takes place. This is one way of purification of the colloidal solution, that is called as a dialysis. This membrane, selectivity of this is due to this membrane, that is parchment paper or cellophane paper. The parchment paper is nothing but your ordinary filter paper made up of cellulose. It contains some pores. To reduce the pores of size of these pores, then what they do? It is dipped in that is collodion. It is nothing but there is another material known as cellulose nitrate. Nitrate of the cellulose, proxylene. That is and dip the proxylene is taken, nitrocellulose is taken in ethyl alcohol and ether. This ordinary filter paper is dipped in it. So that is the most of the pores are clogged, and size of the pores becomes very small. So what you are doing through this process, that is the size of the pores are decreased. The pores present on the filter paper are selective. Now we are reducing the size of the pores, and through those pores the ions can move but not the molecular species. So such special membranes are used, parchment paper and cellophane paper, that belongs to this category. Or it may be coated with the cellulose paper is even coated with the gelatin, which is a proteinous material collected from the meat. That is, after coating with the meat, that's a gelatin, that is treated with the formaldehyde, and it becomes hard, and with small pores. That paper acts as a semi-permeable membrane, that is called as the parchment paper. So don't confuse what is this parchment paper. It is nothing but the modified ordinary filter paper. The ordinary filter paper is coated with some organic materials like the cellulose nitrate or gelatin, and further to dry up, that is treated with the formaldehyde. So now the pores left, or the size of the pores shows the selectivity. This is called as this one. Why this continuation? This is water is passed. So that is the concentration of the electrolyte around this should not increase. As water flows, that carries the electrolyte that is coming out, and that is reverse diffusion. That is again entering the H plus and Cl minus ion from the outside to inside decreases, and that is diffusion. That is the process will become the fast, and purification will become the fast. This is the dialysis. The same principle is used in the medical dialysis. If your kidneys are failed, that is, if anybody kidney is failed, then what happens? To eliminate the unwanted things from the blood, that is, it is sent to the artificial kidney, which works on same principle, that removes, and that is a slow process, 5-6 hours process. So that is a dialysis process. So this is the dialysis process, purification. And second one is electrodialysis. Nothing, electrodialysis, it's a slow process. So that is this process carried under the electric field. So that is here, this is the electrode, this is the electrode, 2 electrodes. This is a negatively charged electrode, this is positively charged electrode. This is and now, like two electrodes are immersed. See the electrode, once the electrodes are immersed, that is dialysis becomes very fast. Rate of dialysis increases. Why? That is, this contains the cations H plus ion and Cl minus ion, or electrolyte cation and anion. That is, this is the negatively charged electrode, which is the charge, it attracts the positively charged cations from the colloidal solution. Because of this driving force, that is positively charged cations comes out, and anions comes out and moves towards the Cl minus ion, comes out and moves towards this side. H plus ion comes out and moves towards this side. I have taken the HCl as the electrolyte. So the rate of diffusion, rate of, that is the dialysis is increased by applying the electric field. If the dialysis is carried, the setup is same. Dialysis carried under the electric field, it is called as the electrodialysis. It is a faster process than the classical dialysis process. And now the second one is the ultrafiltration. What is ultrafiltration? Here we are, in the first two methods, we are eliminating or removing the cations and anions of the electrolyte from the colloidal solution by using that is semi-permeable membrane. In the ultrafiltration, we are not using the semi-permeable membrane. So that is as the process dialysis is continued, then content of the electrolyte gradually decreases. We stop the dialysis at when the electrolytic level is in the desired level. And ultrafiltration process, what they do in the ultrafiltration, that is filter papers are used. Here principle is this: your colloidal solution contains dispersion medium, right, solvent, dispersion medium, dispersed phase solute, ferric hydroxide, and third thing is the electrolyte. Three things are there. Now we have to eliminate the electrolyte. Now what we are doing, we are using the filtration. A filter paper is taken, that is say this is the funnel. So a filter paper is adjusted here. Normal gravity method. Here what they do, the colloidal solution is poured into this. Colloidal solution is poured into this. So then what happens? If it is a ordinary filter paper, then what happens? All will go. That is solvent, that is dispersion medium, pass through the pores of the filter paper. Dispersed phase, that is the solute part, that also pass through the ordinary filter paper, cannot stop. The pores are the bigger than that of that is colloidal particle size, and the electrolyte ions will pour. All will, nothing will left on this. See, now what we are doing for this purpose, filtration. So that is use the appropriate selective membrane. Very fine membranes are used, that is filter papers are used, selective filter papers are used. So what we are doing, that is the size of the dispersion medium is molecular size. The size of the electrolytes are ions, the smaller than the 1 nanometer, and that is the dispersion medium also less than 1 nanometer, but dispersed phase colloidal particle size is greater than in the range of 1 to 1000. So now you have to choose the filter paper, the size of the pores must be smaller than the 1 nanometer, smaller than the 1 nanometer. Then what happens if the colloidal solution is poured among these three components? The solvents flow through the filter paper, special filter paper, and the second one is that is electrolytes, that is ions, metal ions and anions and cations pass through the filter paper, but that is the dispersed phase, that is solute part of the colloidal solution, which has the bigger size than the pores of the filter paper chosen. Therefore, only dispersed phase left on this. Dispersed phase left on this. This is that is the dispersion medium plus electrolyte. Come out. Now, what we are doing? Fully we are separating the dispersed phase. In the purification process, we are separating the dispersed phase totally from dispersion medium. Now I have only the dispersed phase. Now it is added to this is added to take the fresh dispersion medium water, and add this material. Along with this, add the small amount of the peptizing agent, because it is now in the precipitation form, that is DP. Add DP. DP. From where it is DP? DP is separated from the original colloidal solution. DP is transferred to the fresh DM and small amount of the peptizing agent. I told you, small amount of the electrolyte is required to create the charge on the colloidal particle. Therefore, now it is this. But here, normally colliding paper, special filter papers are used. That is specially made filter paper, that is parchment paper, that is collodion papers. They are used, this variety of the filter papers are used with particular specifications. The required filter paper is used here, and that is by using the ultra filter papers, sophisticated filter papers, that is dispersed phase is separated from the dispersed medium. So that is the dispersed medium plus electrolyte. This is the ultra filtration procedure. We are breaking the colloid and again making the colloid. Right? Understand? That the fourth one is the ultra centrifugation. See, this is also same. That is dispersal phase in this method also. I told you there are three things: dispersion medium, dispersed phase, and electrolytic system. Three are there. To certain extent, this can be electrolyte to be removed to improve the stability of stability of that is the colloidal solution. Here also same thing. The fourth also same thing. That is the dispersal phase is separated from that is dispersion medium. Impure colloid, take the impure colloidal solution and use the ultra centrifuge. Ultra centrifuge is used. It rotates in that is like this. That is, it is rotating. That is due to the centrifugal force. Then what happens? That is the heavy particles, that is the colloidal particles, that is dispersal phase moves away. That is due to this what happens? This is the test tube. This is kept in your centrifuge. This is the solution kept in the centrifuge with high RPM. It is rotated. On rotation, then what happens? The heavy particles move away from the center. Due to this what happens? Dispersed phase particles, that is settle at the bottom of the test tube. This is the now dispersed medium. This is dispersed phase. Dispersed dP. This is dispersion medium plus electrolyte. What you are doing? You are separating the dispersed phase from the dispersion medium. This is by using the physical technique known as the centrifugation. By using the ultra centrifugation, which rotates with very high speed. So separated. Normally blood on centrifugation, that is plasma, and that is RBC, WBC, cell components comes out. This is the cell component, this is the plasma, liquidous part with the other things. This is the colloidal particles of the blood, that is cells, and all these things are separated. So those cells are examined under the microscope. This liquidous plasma is used for the tests, for different tests, plasma tests. So that is the ultra centrifugation process. So agreed, how purification is not over. The first step is the dispersal phase is separated from the dispersion medium or colloidal solution. Now separate, decant, pour that liquid out, that is DM and electrolyte is eliminated. Now only dispersal phase. Again this dispersal phase is dissolved or taken into the fresh dispersion medium, which contains the small amount of the electrolyte, required electrolyte. Take water, add small amount of the appropriate electrolyte to this, and dispersion medium is transferred into this. Again we are reconstructing the colloidal solution in the ultra centrifugation. Right? These are the different procedures of the purification procedures of colloidal solutions. So now the next one is the properties of colloidal solutions. colloidal solution. See, it is a heterogeneous system. First, colloidal solutions are heterogeneous. Heterogeneous solutions are heterogeneous system. There are two phases. If there are two phases, and homogeneous system means there should not be two phases, it should have only one phase. And two phases, that is dispersal phase, dispersion medium solvent, and dispersal phase. So we need not discuss more about the heterogeneity of the solution. If the dispersal particle size is less than 1 nanometer, then it is called as a homogeneous. Dispersal particle size is greater than 1 nanometer, that is called as the colloidal solution. 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometers, it is called as a colloidal solution. In colloidal system, the dispersal phase particle size is in the range of 1 to 1000 nanometers. Therefore, it is considered as a heterogeneous system. And this is it looks like a homogeneous system. You take the milk, you take the blood. These are all the colloidal systems. They are all the heterogeneous systems. But that is they look like a homogeneous system. That's why colloidal solutions sometimes called as the false solutions. So homogeneous mixtures are commonly known as the solutions or true solutions. Why they are called as the true solutions? They are the systems which are not solutions look like solutions, like milk and blood and etc. That is ink, this paint, they look like homogeneous systems. They are all heterogeneous systems. So all colloidal solutions are heterogeneous systems. The second one is that is size. Size of the particle is, we know, that is the 1 nanometer to, that is 10 to the power of 3 nanometers, 1000 nanometers. 3. Visibility, or that is 10 angstroms to 1000 angstroms. 3. So that is 10 to the power of minus 7 centimeter diameter. 2. That is 10 to the power of minus 5 centimeters diameter. That is the diameter of the particle. See, one more thing. The size of the all colloidal particles in the given colloidal system is not uniform. Each one will have its own size. That is, but all the range of the size is between the 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometers. The third one is the visibility. Visibility of the colloidal particles. Visibility of the colloidal particles. In true solution, with the naked eye we cannot see the molecule, atoms, molecules, very small. Here, the even colloidal system, that is where the size is 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometers, that is, they are not visible. They cannot be seen by the naked eye. But one thing, see, the particles of the dispersed phase of a colloidal system can be viewed under ultra microscope. Under ultra microscope, these particles can be seen. So that is the colloidal particle dispersal. Colloidal particles cannot be seen with the naked eye, but they can be seen by using the ultra microscope. So when the beam of light is passed through the colloidal solution, then what happens? Scatters the light. When it scatters, the size of the particle is eliminated. That eliminated particle can be seen by using the ultra microscope. So that is, it cannot be seen by naked eyes, but it can be seen under ultra microscope, powerful microscope. The fourth one is the surface tension. surface tension. See, the surface tension property is different for the lyophilic and lyophobic colloids. If you come to the lyophilic colloids and lyophobic colloids, solvent liking colloids and solvent hating colloids. Here the attractions are established between that is dispersed phase, particles of the dispersed phase and molecules of the dispersion medium. Here that is attractions are not possible between the particles of the dispersed phase and molecules of the dispersion medium. Solvent hating, solvent liking colloidal system. If you come to this, here that is the surface tension of the lyophilic colloids is less. Colloidal solution surface tension is less compared to that is dispersion, pure dispersion medium. Compared to the solvent solution, surface tension is less due to attractions, nullified. Whereas here, lyophobic colloids, that is surface tension is not much altered, nearly same. That is dispersion frame colloidal solution lyophobic, that is surface tension of the lyophobic colloids is equal to that is dispersion medium. Due to the addition of the dispersed phase, the dispersion medium surface tension is not much altered because lack of the attractions. So that is but whereas in case of this, due to the addition of the gum to the water, the surface tension is decreased. Surface tension of that is water is decreased. Gum solution surface tension is less than that is the pure water. And if you come to the fifth point, that is viscosity. Viscosity. Same, the lyophilic colloids, viscosity, the resistance offered to the resistance experienced to flow from one place to other place. So that is due to addition that becomes the thick water. It has a free flow. If you add the starch or gum, then what happens? It becomes thick. The flowing tendency decreases. Viscosity increases, resistance to flow increases. That is viscosity of the lyophilic colloids are less compared to that is dispersion medium. So the lyophilic colloids, the viscosity is not less. Viscosity is more. Resistance is more compared to the DM, whereas here no change in that is viscosity of the solution. The surface tension is not affected, that is viscosity is not affected for lyophilic colloids. Their surface tension and viscosity are same as that is pure, that is dispersion medium, whereas here it is increase. This is decreased, this is increased, viscosity is increased. And if you come to that is sixth one, that is colligative properties. Colligative properties. That is, there are some physical properties and they depend on number of solute particles in the solution and independent of the chemical nature of the solute particle. That is different story. So that we have to discuss in the dilute solutions under the heading of the ideal solutions and the non-ideal solutions and the dilute solutions. See here, this is the system, pure water. To this, sugar is added. Sugar is dispersed in this in the form of molecular state. Due to the addition of this, the resultant system shows some special property. Due to the addition of the sugar to the water, its vapor pressure slightly decreases. Solution vapor pressure decreases. This is the decrease in the vapor pressure. And its boiling point increases, delta Tb. Is that if water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, after addition of the sugar to that or urea to that boiling point increases. Solution boils at the higher temperature than the solvent. This is delta Tb. And its freezing point decreases. Water freezes at the 0 degrees. After addition of the sugar, that freezes at the below 0 degrees Celsius, -1 or -2 or -3. That depends on the degree Celsius. That depends on the amount of the solute added. That is delta Tf. And it shows the osmotic pressure, that is called as this. These four properties, physical properties, that is lowering of the vapor pressure, increasing the boiling point is scientifically known as the elevation in the boiling point, decrease in the freezing point is called as the depression in the freezing point, and this is the osmotic pressure of the solution. So these are the four physical properties which depend on the nature of the solute number of the solute particles and independent of the nature of the chemical nature of the solute. See, I have taken another example. This is the 1 liter water. See, this is 1 liter water. This is 1 liter water. This is 1 liter. So to this 0.1 mole of urea is added. Here 0.1 mole of sucrose is added. Sugar. Sucrose is added. Here 6.023 into 10 to the power of 22 molecules of the sucrose added. Here also 0.1 mole means 6.023 into 10 to the power of 22 molecules are added. So in the molecular state they are dispersed. Right? I prepared the different solutions. This is urea chemical nature is different and sucrose chemical nature is different. It is a sweetening agent, that is a nitrogenous fertilizer. So see what we are going to discuss now. Due to the addition, its boiling point, that's the vapor pressure is decreased. Water has its own vapor pressure at the given temperature. On addition of this, vapor pressure decreases. Boiling point increases. That is, it boils above the 100 degrees Celsius, freezes below the 0 degrees, and it shows some osmotic pressure. Same way this also. Lowering of the vapor pressure, delta P for this, delta Tf Tb for this, delta Tf for this, osmotic pressure. This is, and delta P for this, delta Tb, elevation in the boiling point, depression in the freezing point, and this is pi. So this is the 1, this is 2. This is for 1, this is for 2. See, they are chemically different, but delta P of 1 and delta P of 2. If it is 2 mm, this is 2 mm, 10 mm, 10 mm, 20 mm. The extent of the variation, their properties are the four properties are same for the both. Why? That is number of solute particles. That is, these are the properties which depend on the number of solute particles. Number of solute particles are same. The physical properties of the very dilute solutions which depend on the number of solute particles and independent of the chemical nature of the solute are called as the colligative properties or particular properties. Particles are deciding the number of particles are deciding the behavior of the system. Colligative properties. So here to here, if you double, see, instead of 0.1 mole, if you take the 0.2 mole, delta P will be double. If the 0.1 mole, 0.3 moles are added, delta P is 3 times increased. That is here, the properties are directly proportional to the number of solute particles. Such properties are called as the colligative properties. Right? So here also, you see what is happening in case of these compounds, that is colloidal. These things we have to discuss in detail in the other chapter. This is not the place to totally discuss about the colligative properties. We have the topic known as the dilute solutions or colligative properties. There we have to discuss in detail. This just is the application one of the property attribute property. That is, and here what happened by using the colligative properties, we can find out the molecular weights of the compounds. So, but here this is colligative property delta TF or A, whatever it is, that is delta TF or TB, whatever it is, that is proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. Delta TF is proportional to the mole fraction of the solute. That is delta all proportional to the mole fraction. They found that very dilute solutions, mole fraction is very small. Therefore, that is the colligative properties of the colloidal solutions are very small. Normally we cannot notice, very small. By the help of the colligative properties, we can find out the molecular weight. The colligative properties are used to evaluate the molecular weights of the unknown compounds. It's a physical method of evaluating the molecular weights of the unknown compounds. So here, as directly proportional, here what happens, that is when the material is added, that is 1 mole is added, because of the aggregation of the particles, the number of particles present in the solution is not the 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23. Because of molecular aggregation, number of particles formed are very less. So each colloidal particle, dispersed phase particle, is formed due to the aggregation of the several molecules. Molecular aggregation. Number of particles decreases. Therefore, what happens? Colligative properties decreases. So that is, the colligative properties of the colloidal solutions are very less compared to that is crystalloids or that is true solutions. Because number of solute particles decreases due to aggregation. There the independently existing particles are required. Solute particles are required. That is, even though you add the 1 mole of the molecules, that is what happens, that is they combine each other and form that is few molecules, few particles are formed. Therefore, what happens, they show the very low colligative properties. They delta TF, delta TB and delta P, pi are very less, and here the pi is, that is the osmotic pressure is comfortable, that is measurable extent, and by using these colligative properties, their molecular weights can be by using the osmotic pressure method, their molecular size, molecular weight, or that is the size of the colloidal particle, that is the mass of the colloidal particle can be determined. Once you know the mass of the colloidal particle, if you divide it with the molecular mass of the molecular mass, then what happens, you get the number of molecules present in each particle can be determined. That is the regarding about the colligative properties. And fourth one is or sixth or seventh one is this is the mechanical properties of colloidal solutions. So in the mechanical properties, first one is the Brownian movement. We are not new to this word, Brownian movement, zigzag motion of that is particles. It is related to the kinetic theory of gases. during the postulations of the kinetic theory of gases. So one of the postulates is that is the gas molecules are not